world where a single joke, a forbidden song, or even an honest thought could lead you to a prison camp you might never escape from. This isn't a dystopian novel or a scene from a dark movie. This is life in North Korea, a country completely shut off from the rest of the world. Hidden behind barbed wires, propaganda, and fear, North Korea is a place where the government doesn't just control your actions, it controls your thoughts, your family, and even your future generations. It's a nation built on obedience, where freedom is a fantasy and loyalty is the only currency that matters. Today, we uncover the brutal laws that make North Korea one of the most terrifyingly controlled places on Earth. Laws that are not just harsh, but almost unreal to anyone living outside those borders. Let's begin with one of the most haunting laws of all, the 3 generations of punishment. Imagine being punished for a crime your grandfather committed decades ago. In North Korea, if one person is accused of disloyalty to the government, their entire bloodline suffers. Parents, children, and grandchildren are arrested, tortured, and sent to prison camps for crimes they never committed. The idea behind this law is simple but horrifying. Eliminate not just rebellion, but any possibility of it continuing through family ties. People live knowing that their words, even whispered in private, can destroy their families for generations. It's psychological warfare on the deepest level. In one shocking case, a man was sent to a labor camp for criticizing the government in private, and within hours, his entire family vanished. No trial, no warning, just gone. This law doesn't just control actions, it controls thoughts. Because when your words can kill your loved ones, silence becomes your only survival. Then there's the songbun system, a social ranking system that defines who you are from the moment you're born. In North Korea, your status, your job, your education, even the food you eat depends on your songbun, your family's political loyalty to the ruling Kim dynasty. There are 3 main classes: the core class, loyal to the regime; the wavering class, who are tolerated but not trusted; and the hostile class, whose families are seen as enemies of the state. If your grandfather once spoke against the government, you and your descendants could be permanently branded as hostile. No matter how hard you work, you can't escape it. Children of core families attend elite schools, join the army, and live in the capital Pyongyang. The hostile class lives in rural poverty, often without proper housing or food. It's a caste system of oppression that determines your fate before you even take your first breath. Now let's talk about loyalty, a law in itself in North Korea. The leaders, known as the Kim family, are not just politicians, they're worshipped like gods. Every home is required by law to display portraits of Kim Il-sung and Kim Jong-il, polished daily with care. Inspectors visit homes to make sure these portraits are spotless. If dust is found, punishment follows. If a fire breaks out, citizens are expected to save the portraits before saving their families. There are stories of people being executed for accidentally damaging one of these images. Loyalty in North Korea isn't an emotion, it's an enforced duty. In schools, children sing songs praising Kim Jong-un as their father and protector. Citizens cry on command when his image appears. Even grief is dictated by law. No one can express emotion that isn't government approved. Then comes the law of appearance and behavior, which may sound strange but carries deadly consequences. North Koreans can't wear jeans. They're banned because they symbolize Western culture. Haircuts are limited to a government-approved list. 18 styles for women, 15 for men. Anything else is considered rebellious. Tattoos, piercings, or foreign clothing styles can lead to imprisonment or worse. Every small act of individuality is seen as a threat to the regime's image. Even the way people walk, talk, or greet others must reflect discipline and uniformity. The government wants its people to look and think the same, an entire population molded into identical shadows. Next, we face one of the most terrifying aspects of North Korean life, the control of information. In this country, the internet doesn't exist the way we know it. Instead, there's a government-run network called Kwangmyong, filled with propaganda and fake news glorifying the leaders. All radios and TVs are pre-tuned to government stations, sealed so no one can change the frequency. Owning or watching foreign content, especially South Korean dramas or Western movies, is a serious crime. People have been publicly executed for watching a Hollywood film or listening to K-pop. Smugglers who bring in USBs filled with foreign media risk death to give people a glimpse of the outside world. The government knows that truth is dangerous because once people see the freedom beyond their borders, the illusion of control starts to crumble. And what happens to those who dare to break these laws? They vanish into labor camps, known as Kwanlee-so, some of the most brutal prisons on Earth. These are places where hope dies and humanity fades. Prisoners, including children, are forced to work 16-hour days, often in freezing temperatures or under the blazing sun. Food is scarce, a few grains of corn, some weeds, and dirty water. Those who slow down are beaten, tortured, or executed in front of others. There are stories of prisoners forced to dig their own graves. Survivors who escaped describe the camps as living cemeteries, where people eventually forget their names, their families, and even their will to live. And the cruelest part? Many of them don't even know what crime they committed. Religion, a source of hope for many, is completely forbidden. The government fears any belief that competes with the worship of its leaders. Owning a Bible or praying privately can lead to execution. In one heartbreaking case, a woman was executed for hiding a Bible in her home. Her entire family sent to prison camps. Churches that exist in Pyongyang are merely for show, to convince the world that North Korea allows religious freedom. In truth, every prayer must be directed only to the leader. The state has replaced God. Even the education system is designed to brainwash from the very beginning. From kindergarten, children are taught that Kim Il-sung is the son of the nation. They memorize his speeches, sing songs about his greatness, and draw pictures of him in schoolbooks. Students spend more time learning about their leader's life than actual subjects like science or math. The system doesn't raise thinkers, it raises worshipers. By the time they reach adulthood, they're programmed to believe their leader can control the weather, read minds, and never make mistakes. And finally, the travel law, one of the most devastating restrictions of all. No citizen can leave the country without government permission, which is almost never granted. The borders are lined with guards and electric fences. Those caught trying to escape are shot on sight or tortured publicly as a warning. Even if someone manages to flee across the river into China, their family back home faces brutal retribution, imprisonment, or death. That's why many people choose to stay, not because they don't dream of freedom, but because their freedom would mean someone else's suffering. Every one of these laws exists for one single purpose: to maintain absolute control. North Korea isn't just a dictatorship. It's a prison disguised as a nation. It's a place where truth is outlawed, where freedom is treason, and where loyalty is survival. But even in that darkness, there are those who dare to dream, those who risk everything to escape, to tell their stories, to remind the world that they exist. So ask yourself this: how can a place like this still exist in our modern world? How can millions of people live under such impossible rules, unseen by the outside world? The truth is, the walls around North Korea are not just physical, they are psychological. This is the story of North Korea, the country where obedience is law, fear is life, and freedom is just a dream whispered in the dark. You've been watching MOCo Views, where the truth is louder than silence.